Growing up in a home surrounded by music, Dr. Clifton Sanders found a bridge to science, and a love for both began. He completed his PhD in organic chemistry at the University of Utah.
I look at playing music almost as a research program, just like a scientist would. You know, there's little experiments that you do, and in the craft, you figure out what you're good at, what you like, and how you make it work. One of the books that I read when I was about 8 years old was my mother's high school chemistry book. And that was one of the ways that I got interested in science. My father's a saxophone player. My mother used to sing professionally. And so there was that kind of mix of science and the arts, both of which captivated me.
An unfortunate economic downturn left him downsized by his company. But, as they say, where one door closes, another door opens. And for Clifton, that was the world of education. Beginning at Salt Lake Community College as a chemistry faculty member and eventually becoming the provost for academic affairs, overseeing the education of more than 61,000 students annually.
And I immediately fell in love with teaching, with the students, with the institution, and it fit my sensibilities.
When I think of Clifton, coming from Baltimore, being either the first or one of the first in his family to go to college, I think of the poem Midway. I've come this far to freedom, and I won't turn back. I'm climbing to the highway from my old dirt track. I'm coming and I'm going, and I'm stretching and I'm growing, and I'll reap what I've been sowing, or my skin's not black. I have prayed and slaved and waited, and yes, I've sung my song. You've lashed me and you treated me, but I've still grown strong.
Having walked the educational path all the way to a doctoral degree himself, Clifton was uniquely qualified to help other students of color reach their lofty goals.
Well, what drew me to mentoring minority graduate students was the desire to give back. I know what it's like for graduate students of color to go through, no matter how talented. It's a different culture in some ways, and I've been through it. And so I feel like what I try to do is to help people learn college and graduate school in ways that help them be less distracted and to not sweat things unnecessarily.
Dr. Sanders' desires to mentor and help the underserved continued as he co-led and developed SLIC's component of supporting young Native Americans to pursue science.
And it was really for all of the institutions in the state of Utah. It just turned out that in terms of capacity and the desire to see students succeed, we ended up spearheading it.
The amount of people of color in recognizable positions is small, but the impact is great. And so for the university to acknowledge him, gives the community a certain level of acknowledgement and praise.
After all the accomplishments and accolades from academics, Dr. Sanders' love of music never faded. When he was 40 years old, he realized his dream of performing professionally, joining the G Brown Quintet. Some have said he's just a musician trapped in a scientist's body. Sounds like he has struck the perfect note.